Hello, thanks for being in a new video. This time I have unboxing of the Nubia Focus Pro 5G. Let's get started. This is part of the new family of Nubia devices that are focusing on very specific things. They already launched the Nubia Music, very focused on music as the name says. And in this case, by carrying the word focus, it is very clear that it will focus on the camera. However, despite being devices very focused on certain aspects, they are part of the mid-range or even entry range. In this case, its launch price in Mexico is $5,999 at Telcel. On the screen, you see the reference price in dollars, but remember that the prices here are not the same as there. And also remember that in Mexico, the prices are usually a little higher. And also remember that if it is sold by Telcel, they are usually much higher. But anyway, let's take this device out of its box to get to know it a little closer. And ready, the first thing we find here is this small envelope-shaped box where we will find various contents. For starters, we find the key to remove the SIM card tray. It's simple. We also find the Nubia VIP card that comes included in most of its recent smartphones, although curiously in the Nubia Music did not come this VIP card, so it seems that it may be depending on the range of the device. Subsequently, we will find this quick guide, nothing more, papers of all life, and that's it. And finally, in this envelope, we find a case. Note that it is a case that has a semi-rigid design. In a moment, we can see how it looks when it is put on, because fortunately it has a design that seems to give it a matte finish. We'll see in a moment how good or bad it looks. So let's take the phone out of the box. And before we take this plastic off, let's take a look at what the manufacturer highlights. For starters, it comes in collaboration with DTS, so it should have considerably good sound. We also find here the 108 megapixel AI camera with optical stabilization. The manufacturer is betting wholeheartedly on this camera. We will see in a moment if it comes optimized or not optimized, as we have found in other manufacturers. In this case, it also comes with 256 gigabytes of storage, and notes that it says up to 20 gigabytes of RAM, although obviously here it details that it's 8 gigabytes of physical RAM, which is a remarkably good thing for the price range, and up to 12 gigabytes of virtual RAM. Finally comes the 33-watt fast charging highlighted on this label, so I think it has interesting points to compete in this price range even in Mexico. So let's take this label off. And now we can get right into the cell phone. It definitely has a very nice design. If you like cell phones that look like a camera and do not want to spend too much on a high-end device, it seems to me that this device could get to give you a very good aesthetic. Right off the bat, the design strikes me as very nice for a device that wants to focus on the camera. Let's turn it on and see what else comes in the box while this device is turning on. As you notice, the charger has a modern design. It's a 33-watt charger, as we were already described a moment ago, and it has USB-C connector. So the cable is also modern, from USB-C to USB-C, and it's a good length. So at least in the contents of the box, the device is giving us a good experience. So what do you think about putting the case on to see what it looks like with it on? I think it still has a very good aesthetic, although to the touch it changes, because in this case it has a completely smooth feel and a matte finish, and without the case we are going to find also a matte finish, but with a much softer touch since it integrates synthetic leather. So let me put all this away in the box and we'll come back to take a look at the specs. It has a 6.72-inch diagonal LCD screen, has full HD plus resolution, and is 120 Hz. It is a considerably good screen if you see it from the front, although from the side it will lose a significant amount of brightness, so it is a screen more focused on personal use. In addition, it will not have as much contrast as we could see in AMOLED screens, but in terms of color, it seems to give a good enough experience. It integrates a single speaker on the bottom, so it has mono sound. I think that could be improved because in this price range there are already several manufacturers that begin to integrate stereo sound, although it is not something super common in the price range, and obviously this device will focus more on photography and not so much on sound, but we would like to see stereo sound. The front camera is 32 megapixels with f2.5 aperture. Let me show you the example. First I took a screenshot so you can see the difficult lighting environment we had. Definitely the illuminated area comes out completely burnt and overexposed, but after taking the picture I think it balances highlights and shadows better, so in front camera it looks like it's doing well, although I personally don't consider the 32 megapixels to be reflected here. It looks more like an 8 megapixel camera interpolated up to 32, and now pay attention to the photographic system on the back. We'll find the ultra-wide camera on this side. It's 5 megapixels, but the amazing thing is that it has autofocus, something that no manufacturer is going to give you in this price range. In fact, many manufacturers don't give you an ultra-wide camera in this price range, so it acts as both an ultra-wide camera and a macro camera at the same time. Then we'll find the 108 megapixel camera with optical stabilization f1.7 aperture, and it also supports in-sensor zoom. In other words, it is going to try to maintain optical quality in all its zoom ranges, and that can definitely become very attractive. And finally, we have a purely decorative camera. 2 megapixels for depth capture, we'll see in a moment if it works or not, and at the top it comes with the LED flash to illuminate a little bit in dark scenes. So considering the price point it has, I would say that it is a little bit more advanced photographic system, especially because of the main sensor and because it has an ultra-wide camera with autofocus. And the design is obviously going to be very attractive. It also has a switch directly to open the camera, so it can serve as a quick shortcut. In fact, it also has a touch button on the frame for shooting pictures. These two elements also make this device gain more prominence when looking for camera-focused devices. So let's take a look at some examples. This is a picture taken at 108 megapixels, and I definitely think it does get to a good level of detail. By the time you zoom in, it still takes a little bit of time to take the full sharpness of the picture, but it's definitely a device that takes advantage of that sensor very well. That's very good news. Here you are seeing now an example of the ultra-wide camera that is 18 millimeters, and honestly it looks like a good picture to me, considering that we're talking about a mid-range, even lower mid-range device. And it's definitely excellent that it includes autofocus. Now you're looking at the photograph with 24 millimeters, that is with the main camera, and it definitely gives good colors, good level of detail. You see a very good quality photograph. But notice from the same camera interface, it allows you to press this 24 millimeter button to transform the photograph to 35 millimeters and up to 50 millimeters. So it gives you various zoom settings, and in this case they maintain good quality. Let's take a look at it. This one is 24 millimeter, now this one is 35 millimeter, and notice how the picture is still looking. With a good level of detail. It doesn't appear to be digital zoom, and I like that very much because it means that the manufacturer optimized and made very good use of this sensor. Now look at the 50 millimeter picture, which is about 2x zoom. It still looks good quality, although I'm not 100% sure that it maintains full optical quality, but it looks good. And note that it also offers the 72mm setting, which is 3x zoom. And in this case, if I'm sure it maintains optical quality, it's definitely excellent news because it gives you a perspective of a telephoto lens, but taking advantage of the same main camera that has a very good light input. So honestly, I'm really liking how this device is taking advantage of its camera. And note that I took other examples here, in this case with 5x zoom, and it still looks with a very good level of detail. And the maximum zoom is 10x, which unlike other devices, looks very well defined. I love the zoom on this phone. And apparently it will also take good portrait pictures, at least according to its price, because it doesn't have totally accurate detection, but at least it seems that it does keep objects in focus and not just your body as other devices do. What I would like is for it to give us telephoto perspective in portrait mode as well, but that's not available. I wish they could add it with an update, because the pictures using this telephoto setting do come out very well. So, from my point of view, it would have the capabilities to give us higher quality telephoto perspective portraits. The ultra-wide no longer has this resolution, but it is very remarkable that in this price range it can record in 4K, which confirms to us that it is very focused on the camera. The front camera allows recording in full HD, so it's not as advanced as the rear camera, but for the price range it's very good. Unfortunately, it comes with Android 13, and that's unfortunate because it's already outdated out of the box and probably won't receive many updates. It also comes with 8 GB of RAM, and you can put extended RAM on it with an additional 12 GB, although personally I've already told you that extended RAM doesn't seem very functional to me. It has 256 GB of storage and just turned on without installing applications. It has 26.76 GB used. That is more or less 10.4%. So it has very good internal storage space, which is excellent news because it's a very photography focused device, so you're going to be able to have a lot of pictures stored here. And the processor is a Unisoc T760. I know that many people hear Unisoc and get scared. In this case, it's a Unisoc 700 series processor, so it's going to give us much better performance than what we get from 600 series processors or what we get from processors that were still called SC processors. But if you like benchmarks, this is the result it gave us in Geekbench. In single core 752 points and in multi-core 2372. That is, they are very similar numbers to the Snapdragon 695, which is present in more expensive devices. So, I think at least on paper it is a processor that does have a lot of power. And for graphics power, I also ran an Antutu test. And in this case, it gives us 480,966 points, which I think in the price range is considerably good power. And I forgot to tell you that the device has 5000 milliamp battery with 33 watts charging stand included in the box. For the moment, this has been all for this video. I hope you liked it. Remember that soon we will have the full video review where you can learn more details about it. See you next time.